What's going on, guys? Straight to the content. So this video, as you can tell by the title, means or is my ex is already with another person. That sucks. That sucks. Any of you guys dealing with that? That fucking sucks. Because you are automatically going to think, yo, I ain't shit if you already moved on. So if that person has already moved on to another person, you are going to automatically assume that relationship, that you don't mean anything. And let me just correct that real quick. Just because someone moved on to a new relationship and it happened fast, it happening fast really doesn't, it means something. I'm not going to say it doesn't mean anything, but it does. But it doesn't mean that they don't think they lost attraction for you. If somebody breaks up with you, that's true. It doesn't mean that you're shit. So let's just get that out of the way. You're not like a terrible person. It's going to feel this way, but it's not true. You're only feeling that way because you had a certain, expectation, not in a negative way, but you had an expectation that it would take, maybe some time before they would move on to another person, and they didn't do that. So it's going to make you feel like you're worthless, like you were small. But that's not true. People make strange decisions every day. And when it comes to girls, a lot of the times girls will go from one relationship straight to another. So it's common. So what ends up happening is a lot of girls will actually lose attraction for you earlier than you think. Because a lot of guys think they know when it happened. Add like 3 more weeks or a month to that. So when a girl loses attraction for you, a lot of the time she's already lining up a replacement for you. Usually it's an orbiter. Or even some guy. And here's the thing about orbiters too. This is why rebound relationships with orbiters don't really work that well, because they're orbiters for a reason, right? She doesn't find them as attractive as she did you or another guy that she might meet. So he's more attractive than you right now, but he's only going to be a placeholder anyway. Or she got into a relationship with another guy that she does really find attractive, which does suck. What's going to happen in this situation, and it sucks even more because you're grieving no matter what. So you guys are all feeling the pain of the breakup. But then she ain't feeling that. She will get over it through the time. But sometimes what ends up happening is they end up ignoring the pain that they would have felt because they're now in a new relationship. So what ends up happening is you might get into a new relationship, aka the dump E, right? You guys might get into a new relationship with a girl. And then your ex now with a new guy is calling you going, yo, like, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And you're sitting here going, fuck you. You broke up with me. So they do in some ways, but they don't in some ways. It's like they don't really face the facts of, and I call this dumpers confidence, because they don't really face the facts that you're still your own person. You might move on and go out with somebody else. They think they can get you back at any time, which isn't fair, but it's just what goes through their heads, because they, at the end of the relationship, dumped you. So they automatically think that they can get you back and do what they want to do. Sometimes their true intention is to move on and try to get away from you and try to start a life without you. And then sometimes they just want to test the waters with a new person and see what happens. Sometimes they want to break up with you to see if you improve and focus on yourself. Sometimes it's just a test. Who knows? The only thing that you can figure out and move and take action on is reflecting on yourself, reflecting on what you know you're supposed to be doing. A lot of the guys I coach are not on their purpose, and getting on your purpose is a whole different conversation. You just can't just jump on it like it's a train. You have to figure out what it is, and you have to have the balls to do it. What I will tell you is that figuring it out is a whole part of the process. So you need to be self-evaluating, right? Because there's no other action that you can really take automatically to make that person love you again and fall back in love with you. You need to know what actions to take when they do break up with you, because a lot of guys get lost and a lot of guys don't focus on themselves. They don't try to improve. So there's a lot of scenarios that can happen, but I want you to understand that you're not worthless because they're dating somebody else. You might even feel guilty because of the relationship and the way that it went. Maybe you made a lot of mistakes that you're aware of, but you're angry at yourself because you didn't fix them fast enough. Remember, life is about experiencing things, and you weren't born with knowledge. How do you think you get knowledge in this life? Experience. Learn from other people's experiences and you'll get knowledge faster. That's how people become wise. A lot of people call me that. A lot of people think I'm wise. I watch what people do and avoid their mistakes, right? I learn from it, but I still have to go through my own mistakes. I had to go through a lot of mistakes with YouTube, right? There's a lot of things that YouTube taught me. Coaching mistakes. There's a lot of things I did there wrong. Membership mistakes. Lots of things I still do wrong, guys. You make mistakes in relationships. A lot of people make a lot of mistakes in relationships because they're not focused enough on themselves. They need to focus on what would make them happy. What would they do if they didn't have that relationship? What would they still be doing? Because a relationship is only part of your life. It's not your entire life. It's not your focus. Your focus is what you do every day. Your work, what you do, especially as a man. Let's get into the next part, which is what is your ex going to be thinking or doing? Well, your ex is going to be in a new relationship. A lot of times it's a rebound, maybe, right? Again, remember to focus on you. But what will end up happening is in this new relationship, a lot of the times rebound relationships don't work because they are coming off of something funky. And what I mean by that is when two people who are single meet each other and they get into a relationship and they're both ready, then that's fine. That's how it's supposed to be. But then when somebody comes out of a relationship and jumps into a new one, right? A lot of the time it comes off, it just doesn't come off right. And sometimes you, even as the dumper, right? You have some trauma in the relationship that you still need to get through. Maybe there's certain things that you expected from your man. Who knows? Whatever it is. Could be anything. And they get into a new relationship with somebody else and it doesn't work out. A lot of the times it doesn't work out. Sometimes that ex, even though they dumped you, still has feelings for you. Right? Something you guys probably really want to hear. They have feelings for you and that will go into the new relationship, which if they have feelings for you, they're going to be watching you. They're going to be paying attention to what you're doing. They're going to be doing all kinds of things and the new relationship will suffer from it. Now, as time does go on, but just because someone still has feelings for you, though, let me play devil's advocate a little bit, doesn't mean that they want to come back to you. That's a whole other thing that guys don't understand. Guys will hit me and they'll be like, yo, even she says she misses me but doesn't want to be with me. I could make a whole other video about that. But that doesn't mean that just because they miss you, just because they love you, doesn't mean that they need to be with you. Because here's what a lot of guys do too. A lot of guys, you can tell them all day long that they're fucking up and they won't change. This is actually a people thing, not even just dudes, but people do this. They won't change until they need to change. And that's people for you. So a lot of you guys that are messaging me and you guys are like, look, if all she had to do was tell me that I was doing this. Well, sometimes the whole threat of them leaving is what makes you change. So many guys message me, and I did this in the past too. When I got dumped, I wanted to change for the person that dumped me because it hurt so bad. That's what people do. People don't change their diet until they have heart attacks. People don't change their ways in relationships until they get dumped. And that's what stops you from behaving a certain way in a new future relationship. So if that person's already with someone, what you need to do is focus on yourself and move the fuck on. Because here's what's going to happen. That person's going to be in that relationship and you're going to move on with your life. And here's the thing. That relationship will probably not work out and they'll probably end up missing you and probably end up calling you. And when that happens, it's going to be up to you whether you choose to be with that person or not. The power is within you.